this summer with Harpole Homes with Keller Williams Realty, 541-286-3030.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. That's why we brew a beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. And for those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. Hey, that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and an exceptional taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. Enjoy responsibly. 2016 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, 0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
When it comes to Honda power equipment at low prices, think Ramsey Waite. We have Honda lawnmowers on site, like the HRX 217 mower, featuring the 4-in-1 Versamo system. Ramsey Waite has an extensive line of Honda generators, including the recreational, super quiet EU 2000i.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it.
Ramsey Waite Superstore.
Honda.
Open Monday through Saturday, Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood.
Check us out at RamseyWaite.com.
You're unique, so why is your mattress one size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/go and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/go.
The Vans Warped Tour 2016, presented by Journeys, coming to a city near you. With Newfound Glory, Sleeping with Sirens, Yellow Card, Real Big Fish, We the Kings, Mayday Parade, and more. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The Vans Warped Tour 2016, presented by Journeys.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
An upper-level low-pressure system will move slowly across our region through Tuesday, bringing cooler temperatures, increased clouds, and light precipitation. Another disturbance brings renewed shower chances over the weekend.
Okay, ready?
All away in London.
Okay.
And the wake-up call.
I've got good news.
News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Quiet, please. Get ready.
It's so terribly happy to have all of you with us right now.
Always love having Finn John on. And I took some photos. We need to post. If you've never seen Finn, he's rocking the handlebar mustache. And not everybody can do it, but I think he pulls it off. Comes in about once every month, talking about certain things. Here's a conversation from last week, just in case you missed it, at 6:41. If you got people that are just moving here or have just newly arrived, they're interested, they're riveted. But you have people that have lived here their entire lives, decades, that haven't heard the stories and the subject matter that Finn John brings each and every time, and he's back with more exciting stories. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
For somebody who's not checked out Offbeat Oregon, and maybe they are too lazy to click over there, just in a nutshell, talk about the website.
Well, Offbeat Oregon is it's basically the archives of the newspaper column that I've been writing for the past 7-8 years now. Basically, looking for weird, unusual, or little-known aspects of Oregon state history. Sometimes stuff that we thought we knew about, but actually didn't. And I just kind of look for that, and every week put together something and send it out, and then 60 days after the newspapers publish it, then I put it on my website. Got about 400 of them now.
400?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just crossed the 400 column boundary.
What was the first one that they got it going?
Oh, the first one was the exploding whale. I think most people know about the exploding whale. At least they know that it happened. But, yeah.
That was national news, wasn't it?
It really was. It was something.
Well, is there any little known facts about the exploding whale that you never hear of? Like, for instance, maybe the
insurance company for the person whose car was crushed by the giant piece of blubber wouldn't pay it or something of that nature?
Oh, the state ponied up for the squished car. But the funny thing about the squished car, though, funny you should mention that, that car belonged to a gentleman named Walt Umenhofer. I hope I pronounced his name right.
It's a great name.
He runs the Baron's Den. You know, when you're driving up the freeway or down the freeway, that like there's a building that has a usually it used to have a big blue banner that said "Shoot a real Tommy gun" on it. Yeah. It's a gun range, indoor gun range, and he rents submachine guns that you can shoot. And anyway, so that was him. He was working for Kingsford Charcoal Briquettes in Springfield back in 1970 when this happened. And and he had actually had some experience with explosives during the war. And when he saw what they were doing with that whale on that beach, he tried to talk sense into the gentleman from the highway department who just kind of blew him off. He's like, no, we know what we're doing.
That's funny right there that you say talk sense into somebody from the highway department. That in and of itself is a hoot.
Yeah, that highway
He doesn't know how to react to that one. You're like,
ODOT,
he wants to agree.
ODOT is one of my favorite state agencies to kind of hate on. Going back to some stuff that happened in Cottage Grove when I was editing the newspaper down there. It's a long story, but now my niece works for them, so I have to moderate myself a little bit.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't think she's listening.
Oh, okay.
Andrea, if you're listening, I'm not here.
Ben John in the studio from Offbeat, Oregon. In 1895, the Supreme Court declared slavery legal in Oregon, but that's part of the story.
Yeah. Well, actually, it declared slavery legal everywhere as long as you actually signed a piece of paper that said, I'm okay with being a slave.
Okay, so let's get this straight. Now, this was not the Oregon Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court.
No, the big one, SCOTUS, yes.
Okay.
And it was an 8-1 decision.
So you can be a slave if you sign a paper saying you want to be one.
Yeah, but you couldn't call yourself a slave because that was, the 13th Amendment and all of that kind of stuff. But you had to call yourself a sailor. This is really getting. I'm really twisting this around here.
So what was the benefit? Why would somebody want to do this?
So basically, what happened was this was an existing practice that when you signed up as a sailor, you were basically an indentured servant. You basically signed up for the duration of the trip, and you didn't really have any civil rights as a citizen. You just you were signed onto the ship. It was like you had joined the army, except that you weren't in the army. You weren't in public service. You were in the service of a private individual who might actually not be an American citizen. So after the 13th Amendment became a thing, the Sailors Union got to thinking, this is involuntary servitude because these guys don't have the right to quit. If they're being abused, they can't say, I'm out of here, I'm drawing my pay, I'm leaving. Like any logger in the woods, if the work is too bad, he can quit. You can't if you're a sailor. So they said, well, there was this amendment that was passed to the Constitution saying that slavery is illegal, and this is basically involuntary servitude. So let's force the issue. So they got 4 guys to get on a schooner, or not a schooner. It was a barkentine actually called the Arago, and it sailed out of San Francisco, and then it arrived in Astoria, and they said, we quit. They left the ship. Now Astoria was a place where sailors were really hard to come by. And Portland was great because you had all these, washed up, or not washed up, but plowboys and drunks and former loggers and stuff who would come downtown. And if they were caught sleeping on the streets or in tunnels under the river, like in Albany, they would get arrested for vagrancy. So they had to check in someplace. They had to sleep somewhere. So they would check into these sailors' hotels, which were like roach motels for people, where they would stay on credit. And the way that you discharged your credit was by signing on to a sailing ship. So that worked okay in Portland. It was a practice called crimping. It was basically Shanghaiing using forced indebtedness as the pressure point. But nobody went to Astoria to do that. So if a ship needed sailors in Astoria, they had some trouble. And so when these guys walked off the ship in Astoria, the captain was like called up the justice of the peace and said, "Get me my guys back." They said, okay, boss. And they went off and they got these guys, and the frogs marched them back to the ship, put them on the ship. The ship sailed off. The guy said, "No, we quit. We don't work for you anymore." So they did a sit-down strike. So the newspapers were calling them mutineers, and they appealed their case all the way to the Supreme Court. And this was by design. They wanted the Supreme Court to say, well, yeah, no, you can't do that because that's indentured servitude. The Supreme Court did not say that. The Supreme Court said, yeah, no problem. And their reasoning for this,
I love this,
was really remarkable. The first thing they did, and this is the majority opinion, right? 8-1 majority. The first thing they did was cited a runaway slave case from Baltimore. They said, well, the government has, had law enforcement officers round up, runaway people and return them to their masters before. In this case, before the war in Baltimore, when a runaway slave. Well, okay. I mean, that was kind of before the 13th Amendment, right? Mm-hmm. So they moved on from there, claimed that the Bill of Rights was intended only to formalize existing practice, which would have been really interesting news to anybody who actually knows anything about the First Amendment, or the Second for that matter. But so they made that case. Then they quibbled about the word involuntary. Well, being a sailor isn't really involuntary servitude because you did sign a piece of paper when you got started. Which you could extrapolate from that to, old school plantation style, old South slavery could have been, according to this court ruling, justified if you just made the slaves sign a piece of paper saying, yeah, I'm okay, I'll be a slave for, 6 years or whatever. So there was that. They also claimed that there were exceptions to all of the constitutional protections, and they cited things like, concealed carry laws being, you can outlaw concealed carry without, because it's an exception to the Second Amendment. You can outlaw libel, like libeling somebody as an exception to the First Amendment, and therefore, making the police be the goon squad to force your employees to come back to work is an exception to the 13th Amendment. Yeah.
So did that ever get challenged? Did anybody ever challenge that? Does that still stand as a ruling?
Well, it went away in 1915. There was actually the legislature actually passed the Seamen's Act, and it outlawed it completely. And it wasn't really possible for the Supreme Court, even if it had wanted to kind of twist that one around. It was very specific. So it's like, okay, that's then the end of that. But Shanghaiing as a practice kind of went away around that time too, because it was a lot easier to hire people to crew steamships than it was to crew sailing ships. My other favorite part about this ruling was this thing at the end of it, where they almost in those words said, well, sailors are different from everybody else because they're categorically stupid and cowardly. I mean, I'm taking a little bit of a liberty. Okay, well, let me read you the actual text. Indeed, seamen are treated by Congress as well as by the Parliament of Great Britain as deficient in that full and intelligent responsibility for their acts which is accredited to ordinary adults, and as needing the protection of the law in the same sense in which minors and wards are entitled to the protection of their parents and guardians.
Yeah, so, right. Pretty much did said that they're mentally deficient.
Sailors are stupid, and so the Constitution doesn't apply to them. Yeah.
Where does because somebody referred to the boxing minister?
Wow.
Where does the boxing minister come in?
Well, now I mentioned that Astoria was a really hard place to find sailors. So the Shanghaiers were really desperate there sometimes, and they would try. Everybody in Astoria in the 1890s knew to watch out. And one Sunday, George Grannis was his name. He was the Methodist minister, and he was coming down the steps from having rung the bell or something like that. And a bunch of guys jumped him and threw a coat over his head. And what they didn't know was that Grannis, like every mild-mannered, soft-spoken man of the cloth, was a reformed prize fighter, rather a good one. So he kicked one of them in the teeth, and they fell down the stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, he was on his feet, moving like a pro. They took a few hits, and then they left. And the next day, Grannis couldn't help but notice that one of the local Shanghaiers was missing a few teeth. He wondered how it might have happened. But yeah, that's early day Astoria right there.
Story that keeps on giving.
Love it.
Good to see that they were so clear and so amazing with the English language as they are today with some of their interpretations.
Yeah, well, the one you mean the justices, the Supreme Court justices, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. The one that objected. I mean, this was an 8-1 decision, which is just mind blowing. But the one that objected was really. It's actually kind of worth looking up. You can find the actual text of this decision with a Google search for what is it? Baldwin versus Robertson, I think.
That's what it says in this website, too.
Yeah, Baldwin v. Robertson.
Yeah.
And it comes up, it's on something, I can't remember the name of the website, but it actually has the full text of the Supreme Court decision, the argument upholding it and the argument opposing it. The argument opposing it is really compelling, and the argument in favor of going ahead and treating sailors as basically indentured servants, really outrageous. It makes quite a rage read.
We do a thing, although we haven't done it in a while, a thing called Bet You Didn't Know, where people enter in the stuff that they know. If they have a little bit of information that maybe you hasn't made your 400 segments, how do they get it to you?
Oh yeah, just drop me a note at Finnjohn.com, FINNJOHN.com. I used to have a mailbox at offbeatoregon.com, but it got filled up with so much stuff that it locked up. So,
wow,
you can't even get into your own mailbox.
I can get into it, but I can't find anything in it. But Finn at finnjohn.com works great.
Hey, have a good rest of your summer. We're going to have you back in September, and don't forget Offbeat Oregon if you want to check out some great stories. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Finn John from last week at 6:55. Good morning.
The RV Corral is having a huge sale on new and used toy haulers. New Shockwave toy hauler trailers starting at $39,995. Each model has unique features with a large amount of storage. RV Corral is also having a big sale on new Fusion Impact fifth wheels starting at $54,995. See these and more at the RV Corral, Eugene's destination for 28 years for sales and service. Just 1 mile south of the Beltline on Highway 99 or RVCorral.com.
Shockwave stock number NT1321 and Fusion Impact stock NF741.
This is your intrepid reporter high in the sky over Sherry's Cafe and Pies with today's traffic and weather. Looks like fiery hot conditions, immediately followed by icy cold comfort thanks to Sherry's free Milkshake Mondays. Order any fire-grilled Northwest burger and get a free hand-scooped traditional milkshake from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Now for traffic. Looks like all roads leading to Sherry's are already thicker than a free milkshake. So you'd better get going. Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Fresh, local, delicious. Pilot, see if you can land in the parking lot.
Hi, Mike here with some info on West Eugene. Did you know there are over 400 businesses on West 6th, 7th, and 11th? Yeah, 400. That includes lots of people to help with your taxes, insurance, or those pesky legal issues. You'll find places to fix your computer, store your stuff, or remodel your kitchen. You can even find a technician to fix your plumbing, or a doctor to, fix your plumbing. From brainy professionals to brawny contractors, find the help you need along West 6th, 7th, and 11th in Eugene. Go West, help seekers. Go West.
What happens next happens here on the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. The Securities and Exchange Commission's long overdue regulations on crowdfunding recently went into effect. This is crowdfunding of investments and is considerably different from the Kickstarter or GoFundMe type of platforms, where you can donate a little money for all kinds of causes, inventions, or to help strangers in need. No, this is about investing in startups, hoping to find the next Facebook or Google, something that's almost as difficult as winning Powerball. Investment crowdfunding was authorized as part of the Jobs Act of 2012. Now, for the first time since the Securities Acts of 1933 and 40, passed in the wake of the stock market crash of 1929 and the Great Depression, companies can raise money from ordinary folks without going through a full-blown stock offering process, something that can easily cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's the nugget. Already numerous, these crowdfunding platforms are sprouting like weeds after the first good rain. Before these rules were released, crowdfunding was restricted from taking most people's money. Now virtually anyone can roll the dice, speculator or promoter, with just a few constraints, thus making it a lot harder for those raising money to get in trouble, and a lot easier for the folks putting it up to lose it. More soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are fluctuating out of the gate after Friday's rally that pushed the S&P 500 to a record. Looking at oil, we're higher at $42 a barrel. OPEC's president said the group will hold talks next month and predicted the current bear market would be short-lived. Walmart agreeing to buy e-commerce startup Jet.com for about $3 billion in cash, giving the world's largest retailer the resources for a stronger shopping website to compete with Amazon.com. Dean Foods posting weaker than expected profit in the quarter. Milk consumption has declined for years because cereal demand has been dropping. Dean Foods lower in trading. However, Delta rising even after the computer system failure this morning that has been grounding flights. Burger King's latest new item is taking a stab at Chipotle. The Whopperito, which puts Whopper ingredients like beef, tomatoes, onion, lettuce, and pickle inside of a flour tortilla, will be sold nationally beginning August 15th. A queso sauce replaces the mayonnaise. Courtney Dunhill, Bloomberg Radio.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. It's been a frustrating morning trying to fly Delta Airlines. For hours, computer problems grounded flights. Service is back up, but there are nearly 400 delays. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Dave, the good news, the ground stop has been lifted. The bad news, it's going to take a while for all those flights to be rebooked. Thousands of travelers still stranded, but some passengers, like Elisa Lasosha at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, are taking it in stride.
You just kind of allow enough time and, hope that it works. I mean, today is just kind of a freak thing.
Delta is blaming the whole thing on a power outage in Atlanta. The company website says there may be some lag time in the display of accurate flight status online, too, Dave.
Tanya, Kansas City, Kansas water park is closed as they investigate the harnesses and straps on the world's tallest water slide the day after a boy was killed on the 17-story drop at like 60 miles an hour.
10-year-old Caleb Schwab apparently came out of the raft during the initial descent, hitting his head on the netting that encloses the slide. The netting is held in place by steel ribs, which is more likely with the boy hit. Witnesses also say they saw blood before the ride closed down.
Fox's William Lajeunesse. What would a President Trump do to the economy? The Republican will detail that in 2 hours.
The big thing on his checklist to fix the economy is a big cut to the corporate tax from 35%, where it is right now, all the way down to 15%. The campaign also says that they want tax reform, the most significant since Reagan was president, and part of that would be a big streamlining in deductions.
Key among those?
A way to let families deduct the costs of child care.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Detroit, where Hillary Clinton will detail her economic plan Thursday. You may recall the Muslim teenager arrested after bringing a homemade clock to school in Texas. The charges of having a hoax bomb were later dropped in this morning. The boy's family filed a lawsuit against the school, though Ahmed Mohammed has since left the country. He's now schooled in Qatar. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Every election year, you hear lots of promises and few guarantees. Lars Larson here to tell you about one guarantee you have right here in Eugene and Lane County. Jeremy Parmenter will sell your home. That's right. Jeremy guarantees to sell your home at a price and a deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it. And Jeremy will sell your home fast. Darbin and Ruby wanted to sell their home and move out of the country. They didn't need the extra stress that comes with selling their home, so they called Jeremy Parmenter. He sold their home in less than 30 days, right on schedule, and got them $10,000 more than any house in that neighborhood. Why would you think of working with any other agent in Eugene or Lane County? And there's no risk. If you want out of the contract, you're out. Call the only agent I recommend in Eugene. Call Jeremy Parmenter at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. Online, OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com. That's OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com.
Wall Street is starting the week with a yawn. There's not much action so far. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
It's true. The markets are not really doing much, virtually unchanged at the moment, but just a few ticks higher for the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 move those two indices into record territory once again. Though all three of the major averages are to the downside after Friday, where we got a pop after a better than expected jobs report. Today, the Dow is down 2.5 points at 18,541. The Nasdaq down 7, the S&P 500 down 1. Energy led the way. There was some talk of oil and OPEC possibly freezing output to a certain extent. That helped things along. Dean Foods down 6.5% after its quarterly numbers. Land O'Lakes is one of its products. Back to you.
Thank you, Nicole. The price of oil is up nearly $1. It's back close to $43 a barrel this morning. We keep paying lower prices at the gas pump, too.
In the past 2 weeks, they're down on average 6 cents to an average price of $2.16, and it's been a 21-cent drop over 9 weeks.
Analyst AAA Lundberg surveys stations nationwide. So does AAA. Its average for regular is lower, $2.12 a gallon. Changes are coming at Walt Disney World, where an alligator dragged a little boy into a lagoon at a resort earlier this summer. A wall is being built.
Disney officials tell the Orlando Sentinel that the barrier wall is part of the new security plan following the death of 2-year-old Lane Graves of Omaha, Nebraska. The boulder wall is going up along the beaches of the Seven Seas Lagoon, where several resorts are located. Disney also put up warning signs and ropes after Graves was dragged by an alligator into the lake in June. The boy's body was found 16 hours later, and an autopsy showed he died from drowning and traumatic injuries. The family decided against a lawsuit against Disney. Joe Chiaro, Fox News.
They'll hand out 14 more gold medals at the Olympics in Rio today. The U.S. is atop the medal count now at 12. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, 1120 KPNW. Welcome in Monday, August 8th, 2016. If you're scoring along at home, you are listening to KPNW as we broadcast from the Widmer Brothers Studios here at the Bi-Coastal Radio Complex. 126, we're having some issues kind of out of the Eugene-Springfield area. 126 at milepost 9 miles south of 20. You've got a fire being reported. A fire probably affecting, I would think, both lanes. And that is on top of the rumored rock fall that we had out there 2 miles west of Sandium Pass Summit on US 20 at milepost 79. So I don't know what else we can add to the mix. Let's hope, I guess we kind of halt at 2. And then, of course, US 101 down in the southern part of the state, down in Brookings, Gold Beach area. Got some issues regarding some collapsing of the highway. Mileposts 303, 305, and 336. If you see anything that we should be talking about here in these here parts, let us know, and we'll pass that on in 541-485-KPNW, or you can email in 1120kpnw@gmail.com. Coming up, we're going to talk flossing with two of our area dentists, Dr. Ferguson and Dr. Fife.
Ferguson and Fife. That sounds like an accounting firm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ferguson and Fife Accountants.
Dental all-stars here in the area. They're coming up, and we're going to talk about flossing and get their reaction when the government came out and said, you know what, it's not that important. It's not that important. Did you floss over the weekend?
I floss all the time.
Okay, good.
I even have floss in the car.
Well, I almost brought floss in so we could floss, but I thought, you know what, getting the debris, the little food nuggets all over the studio, not so hygienic.
Well, that assumes that you've had anything to eat this morning.
Which I have.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, they're coming up. Also, news is coming up.
Yeah, we'll have these stories. We'll take a look at the fires that are burning in the state, give you an update there. Springfield police are investigating a homicide. We'll have what little we can tell you about that. Also, a state senator dying over the weekend. Those stories and more coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, on KPNW.
Ramjack has your foundation solution. Ramjack can fix that.
CCB 146906.
Hi, I'm Bill London. As a bacon fan, it has occurred to me that because bacon is so singularly good, it may actually not be from this planet. It may have been brought here by some superior creature as an offering of peace and goodwill, and Burrito Amigos may be their portal. The first suspicious point is Burrito Amigos uses not one but two types of bacon in their burritos. I know, no one else does that. The other oddity is that you can get bacon burritos right up into the evening at Burrito Amigos, which is suspicious to say the least. Beyond the bacon burritos, the folks at Burrito Amigos are actually friendly. They care you're happy, well taken care of, and satisfied with your meal. That is not a typical thing on this planet. But the big tip-off, the burritos are wrapped in aluminum foil to protect your meal from some sort of nefarious burrito control. The Grays are notorious for that. Burrito Amigos, out-of-this-world bacon burritos with portals in Eugene and Springfield.
It's Brad's Cartoons 9th anniversary, and you're all invited. Get slamming deals at both Brad's locations all month long. Amps, decks, speakers, subs, and security systems, all at Brad's low anniversary prices. The absolute best place for car audio and video is Brad's Cartoons. 7th and Blair in Eugene, and now at 38th and Main in Springfield. Stay tuned.
Ireland Trucking has expanded into the Willamette Valley. If you're an experienced log truck driver that's looking for a great company to work for, look no further than Ireland Trucking. Ireland Trucking offers competitive wages and a great benefit package, including low-cost insurance, a newer fleet of well-maintained trucks, and year-round work. Now is the time to get in on the ground floor of a growing company. Call Ireland Trucking today at 541-863-5241 or online at IrelandTrucking.com.
This is News Radio 1120 KPNW.
And we've got the local story in the morning wake-up call.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Authorities are investigating the death of a 76-year-old woman found in her Springfield home as a homicide. Police had responded to a report of an unresponsive person to find Dorothy Ruth Ashley dead at the residence where she lived alone. Police have determined she died of homicidal violence. At this point, no arrests have been made. The district attorney for Coos County says a Myrtle Point teenager was justified in shooting a man who police say attempted to burglarize his home. Coos County District Attorney Rob Frazier says that the 15-year-old boy feared for his safety when he grabbed a shotgun and shot the suspect in the leg. Police say 53-year-old Kenneth John Edwards entered the teen's home on Wednesday in Myrtle Point. Under Oregon law, deadly physical force can be used if someone commits a burglary in your home and you fear for your life. Edwards is currently being treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and no charges have yet to be filed. The Bureau of Land Management has approved a new timber plan for Western Oregon, and predictably it has environmentalists and the timber industry upset. Ron Denton with the Bureau of Land Management says the plan increases annual timber harvest values from $23 million to $51 million.
Our goal here really in these decisions is, I would say, sustainable and predictable outcomes.
The BLM says it would increase recreation-based revenue from $223 million to $271 million and add 600 jobs.
This is really an umbrella document for managing the lands in Western Oregon.
The Oregon Forest Resources Council disagrees. They call it a flawed plan that is 122 million board feet less than the original Northwest Forest Plan. It was designed, of course, to save the spotted owl. The American Bird Conservancy says the plan ignores science and puts the owl and marbled murrelet at risk. Well, environmentalists and timber industry associates aren't the only groups infuriated by the BLM's so-called record of decision and forest plan. The Coquille Indian tribe is concerned the plan will negatively affect the tribe's timber revenues and eliminate jobs in their surrounding communities.
Disappointed that the protest period explained to us was that they would only address issues that perhaps were breaking the laws, environmental laws or state laws, and they're still not addressing our Coquille Forest Act as a law, and that's something we're going to look to them to define for us.
Coquille Indian Tribe chairperson Brenda Mead says that in their May letter, the tribe said that the plan would interfere with management of its lands and sharply reduce the tribe's timber revenue. The tribe also noted that the BLM failed to consult with the Bureau of Indian Labor Affairs about the plan's effect on tribal lands. The BLM dismissed the tribe's protest July 28th and will not be revising their plan. BLM management plans affect the Coquille tribe because of a unique language in the 1996 law establishing the tribal forest. Currently, legislation to unbind the Coquille Forest from BLM management plans has passed the House of Representatives, and the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee has endorsed a Senate version as of last month. Well, in the November general election, Oregon voters will decide 7 statewide measures. Brad Ford has the details.
The Oregon Secretary of State's office has given numbers to the measures that will be on the ballot. 3 are referred by the legislature. Measures 94 through 96 would eliminate the retirement age for state judges, allow public universities to invest in equities, and dedicate 1.5% of lottery money to veterans. Measure 97 increases the tax on large corporations. Measure 98 increases spending on schools. Measure 99 creates the outdoor school education fund, and Measure 100 makes it illegal to buy or sell parts from endangered species. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Authorities have suspended their search for a hiker who disappeared in the Mount Jefferson Wilderness area southeast of Portland more than a week ago. Riley Zickel, a Lewis and Clark College student from Sebastopol, California, disappeared after entering the wilderness area July 27th. He was last seen that same day by another hiker on the Pacific Crest Trail. More than 340 people have been participating in the search for Zickel, covering hundreds of miles of snowy areas and rugged terrain in the Willamette National Forest. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says they've called off the search after exhausting all available leads. The Bybee Creek fire near Crater Lake is 59% contained, with the burn acreage estimated at 1,072 acres. Fire officials hope stable weather during the next several days will allow them to get the blaze fully under control. Yesterday, fire crews patrolled and strengthened existing containment lines. There's 384 people working on the blaze. That includes 10 crews, 12 engines, 7 helicopters, all assigned to the fire. The park's West Rim Drive will reopen this morning at 8 a.m. from the intersection of Munson Valley Road and West Rim Drive to North Junction. The entire length of the Pacific Crest Trail inside the park was reopened yesterday morning. Meanwhile, fire officials say they expect to have the Blue Top fire near the McKenzie River in East Lane County fully contained sometime today. Fire management was transferred to the McKenzie River Ranger District at noon yesterday. The fires burned about 59 acres. The McKenzie River Trail and Blue Pool area will remain closed, though, until weakened trees and other hazards are removed and damaged slopes are repaired. The Democratic Oregon State Senator from Southern Oregon died suddenly. Brad Ford has more.
71-year-old Alan Bates from Medford died Friday while fishing with his son on the Rogue River. He was 71 years old. Bates was a family physician who served in the Oregon Senate since 2005 and 4 years before that in the House of Representatives. Governor Kate Brown says he was a statesman who was deeply committed to ensuring Oregonians had access to health care. U.S. Senator Ron Wyden says Bates was a frequent moderator of his town halls in Southern Oregon.
I have watched Senator Bates pour his heart and soul into helping others.
Dr. Bates, a Democrat, was highly respected by his Republican colleagues. House Republican leader Mike McLean said he was a man of enormous integrity and a truly selfless public servant. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
State officials say the Oregon State Penitentiary is still on lockdown after more than 150 inmates were involved in a major brawl. The fight broke out Friday afternoon and continued into Saturday morning. The Oregon Department of Corrections says an investigation has been opened into what caused it, and officials will not say if the fights were gang-related. The penitentiary has placed 155 inmates in solitary confinement for their involvement. 5 inmates needed medical attention for non-life-threatening injuries. No staff was injured. There is one death, though, at the prison that authorities are investigating to see if it was somehow related to those fights. The Oregon State Penitentiary is the only maximum security prison in the state. It houses more than 2,000 male inmates. A new analysis of earthquakes off the Oregon and Washington coasts finds there's a slightly greater risk of the big one hitting in the next 50 years. The research finds there are more earthquakes along the Cascadia subduction zone than previously thought. Oregon State University professor of earth sciences Chris Goldfinger says that slightly increases the risk of a major quake.
For northern Oregon, say from Newport northward, it's now bumped up from about 15% to maybe 17 to 20%.
Big quakes happen on average about every 350 years. The last major quake was 315 years ago. Goldfinger says this means it's important to get ready.
We're in a bit of a race to get people and our infrastructure in the Northwest prepared for this.
The quake could have a magnitude around 9, which would cause massive damage to bridges, roads, and buildings throughout the region. Well, thieves know which cars are easiest to steal. Brad Ford has more on the most popular cars among thieves in Oregon.
The top 2 cars stolen in Oregon are the 1994 Honda Accord and the 1998 Honda Civic. Kenton Bryan with the Northwest Insurance Council says you can take basic steps to keep your car from being stolen.
Lock your car, take your keys with you.
Keep valuables out of sight, park in well-lit areas, and have a security system such as an alarm or an ignition system that requires a key with a chip. You can even go a step further.
Tracking devices like OnStar systems for your car that can track it by computer if it's stolen.
If you have comprehensive insurance, that will cover the cost of the car if it's stolen. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
A Portland woman has filed a $10,000 lawsuit against a parking garage owner after alleging that a mysterious liquid dropped onto her forearm while standing next to her parked car. According to the lawsuit, Shoshana Doty says the liquid landed on her right arm after parking her car in a Portland parking garage last year. She argues the liquid later resulted in unexplained injuries such as muscle spasms, swelling, and numbness. Doty's Portland attorney, Mark Ginsburg, says that the Bill Nadeau Company has not identified the source of the liquid. Instead, Ginsburg says that the parking garage owner admitted they'd been paying claims for a liquid that's been damaging people's cars. Doty is seeking $400 in lost income and $8,000 in pain and suffering, and also attorney's fees. The Oregon Agriculture Department has been raising tiny wasps to use as biocontrol agents against stink bugs that damage orchards. Ag Department entomologist Chris Hedstrom says the wasp fights stink bugs by paralyzing their eggs.
You know, you have these agents that are expected to sort of spread on their own, but they certainly work faster if you can help them along. If you can take an insect that's doing the job in one part of the state, move it to a part where that insect doesn't exist yet to get it going, that's definitely a help.
Recently, Hedstrom discovered the tiny wasp is already in Oregon. It was found in a stink bug trap in Portland. The hope is the discovery speeds up USDA approval for targeted releases of wasps raised in the laboratory. The state of Oregon is warning about a fake insurance company that is scamming businesses. Brad Ford reports.
An Oregon transportation company bought insurance through Proactive Indemnity Corporation, paid premiums, and thought they were insured.
And it wasn't until 4 years later that they realized that they didn't have any insurance.
Stephanie Fisek with the Oregon Department of Consumer and Business Services says other names used by the fake company are Proactive Financial Services and Contingent Cargo Company. People associated with the business are Josh Capella and Ahmed Salam. Business owners can verify with the state whether an insurance company is legit.
We want them to always check a license before they do business.
You can do that on the Oregon Division of Financial Regulation website. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
So a woman at Disney's California Adventure dropped her purse accidentally on the track of the California Screamin' Coaster in mid-ride. It prompted the automatic shutdown of the ride. The train had 15 people on it, and they were all stuck about 30 feet in the air. Then firefighters had to come. They had to lower the riders to safety with a bucket truck while the purse was received from the tracks by the operators. This is the third time this year the coaster has to have been shut down. The other two was because riders dropped selfie sticks onto the tracks. 7:22, this look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Sunday in Rio, Michael Phelps added to his gold medal tally, 19 in all, as he was 1/4 of the winning relay team in the 4x100. Katie Ledecky set a world record in the 400 freestyle, about 5 seconds ahead of the closest competitor to claim gold. The U.S. women's basketball team annihilated Senegal as would be expected, 121-56. Next up for them, Venezuela tonight. The women's gymnastics team with Simone Biles leading the way. Picture of perfection and precision, 185.238. Right now, 10 points better than second place China overall. Carrie Walsh and April Ross take to the sand tonight. The entire Russian Paralympic team banned from the Games because of the doping program. They're out. The Games following these. The 20-year-old playing career for 41-year-old Alex Rodriguez will come to an end on Friday. He'll play in the game, and then at spring training next season, he's going to become some sort of consultant. How hard is it for the Yankees to pay out $27 million through 2017, and he's playing not? 4 homers shy of 700. In Denver, 42-year-old Ichiro Suzuki hit a triple in the 7th, became the first player born in Japan to reach 3,000 hits. His Marlins down the Colorado Rockies 10-7. Golf, Jim Furyk getting more talk for his 58th than the person who actually won the Travelers Championship, and that was Russell Knox. First 58 in PGA history. And I'm thinking somebody got a firm talking to. The Hall of Fame game that we were going to be talking about today didn't happen. It was canceled and not played because the paint hadn't dried. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle, where you can always try it before you buy it. On Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time, 7:24.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
An upper-level low-pressure system will move slowly across our region through Tuesday, bringing cooler temperatures, increased clouds, and light precipitation. Another disturbance brings renewed shower chances over the weekend.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. That's why we brew a beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. And for those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. Hey, that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and an exceptional taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. Enjoy responsibly. 2016 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, 0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
Does your home or business have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Discover why Ramjack is the only foundation company you'll ever need. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. The great philosopher Plato wrote in The Republic, "The beginning is the most important part of the work." And even though he wrote that statement many centuries ago, it still applies very much to each of us today. If we expect to get anything accomplished, then we need to pay very careful attention to how we begin the task. Having the idea, thinking ahead about the potential result, setting the goal, and making some basic plans are just as important as doing the job itself. Those are the parts of beginning the work. So what are you beginning today? You can bet it'll be important. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
Right now at Midgley's, when you purchase a Lopi wood-burning stove or fireplace insert, get professional installation for free. You heard right. Get up to $550 in professional installation for free. Utilize Lopi's Green Start technology and get Midgley's professional installation for free. We're at 7th and Chambers in Eugene. check us out online at Midgeleys.com. Midgeleys, anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
If you're going to snack, why not snack the healthy way? Max Muscle has a new snack aisle filled with healthy options like protein bars, protein muffins, chips, jerky. We even have protein pancake mix. Stop in and start snacking. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Tune in to News Talk 1120 KPNW from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for Do-It-Yourself Saturday, brought to you by Redwood Northwest. Everything is better with Redwood. Tables, benches, garden boxes, and beds. Do-It-Yourself Saturday, 9 to 3 on KPNW.
I won't mention any names, but their initials are
Holloway in London. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
727 News Radio 1120 KPNW. It came out last week, and I'm sure people that aren't even in the dental field kind of reacted to it. How did people in the dental field react to the government's assertion that flossing is no longer important? It's not. There's no research to back up that you really have to floss. We brought in two experts, Dr. Michael Ferguson and Dr. Jason Fife from, by the way, if you want to check out their website, eugenesmiles.com, where they have a bunch of smiling. You guys got a huge support staff, and they all seem very happy to be there.
They are awesome, yes.
Yes, we've got a great team with us. A lot of friendly, happy, lovely, good hygienists, assistants, front office people. Everybody that has a passion for making sure people want to smile and have healthy teeth.
Very good. Dr. Ferguson, we've got kind of still a newbie. Give Dr. Fife a little assessment. How's he doing?
He's doing great. Yeah, he's been in the area for a little over 2 years now. He's been working with me the whole time, and he's doing great. Patients love him. Staff loves him. It's been a great fit in the office, and we've completed our partnership and are 50-50 partners now.
So if that wasn't the case and people didn't love him, would you say that?
He dropped me like a bad habit.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been made partner.
Wouldn't. Okay. All right. So you passed the test. All right. So we'll start off with you, Dr. Ferguson. When you heard this, you said you heard it from a patient that the flossing was being not discouraged, but just wasn't being encouraged.
Right. I thought he stumbled across some fringe article that said flossing, wasn't important and that the science wasn't there. And I told him, no, that can't be right. And then I heard it again later that day from another patient. So I went and found the article myself, read it, and thought, geez, I'm going to be busy in a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah. That was my first thought was, oh, this can't be right. I can't believe this is happening. And then the second thought was, wow, yeah, things are going to get busier here now. People stop flossing.
If it wasn't difficult enough to get people to floss in the first place, and then you got this, story coming out, it's a double sucker punch.
Sure. Well, I think people. I've met very few people that love to floss, and so I think this was a little bit of justification for them to not floss, and yeah. So and you've probably seen the fallout from the article. There have been dozens and dozens of other articles written pro and against flossing.
Well, what is the supposed methodology of the finding? I mean, how did they determine that, okay, flossing is not good for you, even though it leaves chunks of stuff between your teeth to rot?
So this is what happened.
Just saying.
This is what happened. The Health and Human Services Department of the government, they send out a dietary guideline every single year, and for some reason or another, it was omitted. Just this last year, and so the AP kind of pressed them on it, and they found out that well we left it off because we have our own rules and regulations as to why we put things on there, and recently there just hasn't been hard enough evidence to support having it on there. With that said, they also came out with a statement saying it is still an important process, along with the ADA. Academy of Dentistry, they said it's still an important process of your day-to-day routine. And I think where's the actual quote here? Flossing is an important oral hygiene practice. Tooth decay and gum disease can develop when plaque is allowed to build up on teeth and along the gum line. Professional cleaning, toothbrushing, and cleaning between the teeth, or flossing, using or interdental brushes have been shown to disrupt and remove this plaque. So they didn't say don't floss. They simply had to take it off of something because they screwed up themselves and didn't have enough backing scientifically in order to keep it on the dietary guideline.
What about you? Do you guys have enough backing with what you see?
Absolutely. I was telling this first patient that mentioned to me the article that I've been practicing for over 18 years now, and I have a pretty healthy demographic of my practice, and you have kids and adults that have pretty good health care, pretty good nutrition, pretty decent oral care, and the ones that floss have fewer cavities than the ones that don't. The ones that floss have less gum problems than the ones that don't. And I think every one of us knows that. I mean, how many of us have taken a holiday from flossing when we've gone camping, and you get back home and you start flossing again? What happens? I mean, your gums might hurt, they might bleed, you pull some crazy stuff out from between your teeth. So
dress it up.
Yeah. And although I haven't done an official study, I mean, I've got and every dentist is like this. I mean, you have lots and lots of experience seeing the effects. You see the people that floss and those that don't, and you see that those that do have better oral health.
So you even had a recommendation for floss. You espouse a certain type of...
I tell all my patients it doesn't matter what type of floss it is, just get something between your teeth. If people refuse to use a small string to get between their teeth, toothpicks, interdental picks, rubber tips, I mean, anything you can put between your teeth is going to help your gums, and to a certain extent your teeth. My favorite floss is just a plain waxed floss.
What age do you really start to hit it with kids?
As soon as you have teeth that are touching. So once your child has teeth that are in and touching, they need to be cleaned. They need to be flossed, or yeah.
And you suggested, by the way, using the, I don't know, what are those things called? The little...
we just call them flossers.
Little flossers, little blue things with about an inch long piece of dental floss on them. Apparently work well with kids for flossing, right?
Yeah, because it's a dexterity issue. You want the kids to, and part of it is just a habit issue. You do want them to start maybe a little bit earlier than when all the teeth are touching, because by then they may not be in that habit to actually start doing it. And so those are really good because they're very easy to manipulate, get around the mouth, and get on the sides of the teeth.
So are you, for the adults out there, for people that don't know or don't do it daily, would you recommend daily? Is this something that every adult out there needs to do on a daily basis?
100%. Yeah, I think that our what was going to be our when we came in, what was going to be our slogan?
Making floss great again.
And it's going to be huge. Huge.
By the way, if you're just joining us, Dr. Ferguson and Dr. Fife. Where's the practice? What's the address?
1507 Coburg Road. Pretty much right across the street from Safeway on Coburg.
And out of curiosity, are you taking new patients?
Are we accepting new patients?
Yeah.
Absolutely, sure. We're always accepting new patients.
For the tooth brushing, we were talking about this off the air as far as the electronic. My dentist is a huge supporter of it. What say you of the electronic devices out there?
My favorite thing about electric toothbrushes is most of them have a built-in timer.
Mm-hmm.
And so if people can adhere to that timer, they're going to typically brush longer than they would self-timing or just until it feels clean.
What do you think, a minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah, usually 2 minutes at a time.
The rule of thumb is the rule of twos, is what they teach us in dental school, which is 2 times a day, 2 minutes each time, and 2 teeth at a time while you're brushing. So if you can remember the rule of twos, then you can remember just about how long you need to do it for.
And what about toothpaste and the fluoride?
So most of the toothpastes are about the same. What changes are just subtle changes in the makeup of the toothpaste, just about how hard the dentifrice is and whether or not it has a desensitizing agent in it like some of the sensitivity toothpastes. And so realistically, it's just finding something along with the toothbrush that works for you that you're going to want to use every single day in order to clean your teeth.
What do you use?
Colgate, I think just the standard Colgate I've never used anything super fancy that has the Crest Total Health. Those are good, or anything that has like an overabundance of desensitizer or fluoride or anything like that. I've always just used the standard, and that's always worked fine for me. But for other people, you may need something a little bit more.
Dr. Ferguson?
I use a Crest or a Colgate, just a plain fluoridated paste.
So what you do is you do what most people do, whatever's cheap.
Whatever's cheap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I typically tell patients to avoid anything that says whitening on it. Whitening is a marketing gimmick only. They're allowed to get away with it because it technically whitens teeth by removing stain a little more effectively. I tell patients it's like sanding with 80 grit instead of 220 grit. So the abrasive in the toothpaste, for the most part, is just a little harsher than a more gentle, more plain type of non-whitening toothpaste. There are some toothpastes that have additives that will actually oxidize stain, but they're a little fewer and far between. But
the other thing to note too is the type of toothbrush that you should use is a soft bristled toothbrush. I don't even know why they still make hard bristled and medium bristled toothbrushes. We tend to, when we do brush, we want to brush pretty hard. And that can be abrasive to the gums themselves and cause things like recession and do actual damage over time. And so that's one of the things we fight with our patients all the time is don't go at it like it's a Brillo pad and you're cleaning something in the sink. There's a little more finesse to it.
I think the reason they still have the hard bristles is because it's good for cleaning grout.
Yeah.
And seriously, I get the thing, it's like grout, it's great for cleaning tools and all different things like that. It's like, okay, it works good for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody is just joining us, give us a conclusion as far as, flossing, yay or nay.
I'm going to say yay to the flossing.
I would also say yay.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things that clinically we see over time the benefits of it. These studies that they keep pointing to were a decade in their making, and the best one only had about 6 months of legwork in it. We don't see that much of a change that quickly. A lot of these things take time. It's years before you start to see periodontal disease develop and cavities form. And so because they don't have the time, the patience, or really the ethics to put somebody through that to not floss for 2 to 5 years, those studies just haven't been done. And so for us, the actual real world aspect of it is what we see in our day-to-day practice.
Does it really surprise you that this study came out?
No, this day and age, no. Everyone's looking for controversy or looking for reasons to. I mean, the other thing that they point to is that there's something called big floss. They started talking about how Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, some of these other companies, they run their own studies. Well, that's because the government can't afford to run their own studies. So the ADA allows these companies to kind of take the forefront with it. But like I said before, because of laziness and because we know it works, they've kind of just done these soft studies over the last decade, and it's kind of caught them.
Big floss.
Yeah.
That's funny.
EugeneSmiles.com, Dr. Fife and Dr. Ferguson, thank you both for coming in.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for having us.
740 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed this Monday morning after Friday's rally. Data last week showed improvements in employment, retail sales, and factory output that have boosted confidence that the economy can withstand faltering growth elsewhere. Meat processor Tyson Foods posting quarterly profit that topped analyst estimates. Costs for grain and livestock declined. Meantime, Dean Foods posting weaker than expected profit in the quarter. Milk consumption has been declining for years because cereal demand has been dropping. Plus, soy and almond-based beverage choices have been expanding. People familiar with Apple's plans say it is getting ready to unveil successors to the iPhone 6s and iPhone 6s Plus as early as next month. The standout features will be a dual-camera system on the larger iPhone, which will produce brighter photos with more detail, updated home button, and will remove the headphone jack in favor of connectivity via Bluetooth and the charging port. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hey, don't look at me. I didn't invite them.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Well, if you were listening to the news last week, we did a story with AAA talking about the fact that this summer, when you would expect gas prices to go up, gas prices continue to decline and look like they will be declining, at least to the point that the refineries start changing over to their winter blends, and do their maintenance, which always causes the price to go up a little bit. But other than that, it doesn't look like the price of oil is going to go up anytime soon. To talk about that, oil industry analyst Baron Lucas joining us on the Wake Up Call. Baron, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So at this point, we do know that OPEC actually revised their output from about 33.31 million barrels per day to 33.41. How big a difference is that, 0.10 million barrels?
Not very, quite frankly. And certainly there are some issues involved in Iranian and Iraq and Libya and Nigerian oil production going up a little bit recently. The rest of OPEC and even non-OPEC producers like Russia are and have been producing as much as they can because all of those economies are very much dependent on oil. I'll give you an example. Saudi Arabia, their national budget, how they run their country, is based on anywhere between $85 and $100 a barrel of oil, depending on who you ask. Even at the low end, 85, they're in great deficit spending at $44 or less oil, and so they have to produce as much as they can just to make ends meet. And the rest of the countries are much worse off. And so, while the price of oil is 42.70 something right now for WTI, a little bit higher for Brent, I think that's a short-lived phenomenon. There's lots involved. It's supply and demand, but supply and demand is driven by so many things, whether it's a fire in Canada a couple of months ago or terrorism and criminal activity in Nigeria or Libya, Brexit and the European Union's economic fortune is obviously at play. The Chinese economy is much, much softer than anybody thought possible. And our own economy is not very strong either, so demand is not where it needs to be. Either way, though, there's lots of variables, and what we can expect to see is the supply and demand curve to start evening out sometime between the end of this year, first quarter of next year, perhaps. Everybody that we at crudefunders.com are talking to, and we do that daily, obviously, is saying that by middle of next year, we should be seeing $55 to $70 oil, and that's really a reasonable number that's sustainable for our industry and still doesn't affect the price of the pump too badly.
Okay, so it's fine to be talking about economic theory, supply and demand and evening out, et cetera, when it comes to oil. But what it doesn't take really into account is that OPEC isn't looking at those factors. OPEC could decrease the amount of output that they're doing right now, and the price could go back up. They're the ones that are, really rigging, and I use that in the strictest sense of the word. They're rigging the price right now, and it has really nothing to do with supply or demand. Your response to that?
That's partially true, I think. Certainly, anybody that's been paying attention sees a parallel between what's happening today and what happened in 85 and 86, where the exact same thing occurred that drove our oil industry to its knees and caused a 20-year disruption of the evolution of our industry. The difference is, and it is a critical difference, is back then we didn't have a lot of oil to play with. We were running out of oil. We're now running out of oil. In fact, since the shale revolution, we have decades, maybe even centuries of oil, and we certainly have centuries of gas and coal. And so now we're kind of in the driver's seat. Now, while this has been painful for the oil industry, I work there. I work in the oil industry. I clean up oil spills for them. and I work with food funders to raise money for the oil field. Reality is that the oil field has become much more efficient, much more economic. Even unconventional shale production we've increased production and lowered lifting costs. And so 55 or so is about right for people going back to work, but our industry is making money right now. Food Funders has a project about to open in the northwest of Houston where lifting cost is $5 a barrel and break-even is $30. They're making money today. And so, yes, they're monkeying with the prices, but it's a lot of who goes first. There are so many countries out there that simply can't lower production and wait for the price of oil to go up because not everybody's going to do it at the same time. So as soon as you lower production, you lose revenue. And it's really a cat and mouse game that they're playing. And while it's hurting our industry today, long-term industrial health for our oil industry is tremendous because we have all the oil in the world.
Okay, so we keep hearing, though, I mean, you're talking about, hey, we're drilling, we're pulling oil out of the ground, but yet we've heard that there have been mass layoffs in the oil industry, that a lot of these smaller oil companies, the ones that actually go out and do the searching for this stuff, that are such a backbone to the industry, that they're closing down left and right. Is that not true then?
No, it is true, but it really depends on how you look at it. We've lost, and the estimates are all probably not very accurate just because our labor numbers are not accurate, but about 750,000 jobs lost in the United States over the last 2 years. Several, 100 plus at least, bankruptcies. I've lost, in my consultancy business, I've lost a number of clients in the oil field because they just can't make do. But you need to look at how that evolved. If you're a company that is relying on $100+ oil, and that's how you base your business, and you were not able to downsize, tighten the belt, get more efficient, well, then that's just the nature of the beast. The reality is that those companies that are surviving, that are doing well, are better, more efficient, and able to produce more oil more cheaply than we've ever had before. Again, it's a matter of what happens next. Our election has a lot to do with that. But with the right kind of leadership in Washington, we have enough oil to become energy independent for a very long time, and that's a complete game changer for our country.
All right. Barron, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. We appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, you too. Barron Lucas, oil industry analyst on the Wake Up Call. It's 750 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is your intrepid reporter high in the sky over Sherry's Cafe and Pies with today's traffic and weather. Looks like fiery hot conditions, immediately followed by icy cold comfort thanks to Sherry's free Milkshake Mondays. Order any fire-grilled Northwest burger and get a free hand-scooped traditional milkshake from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Now for traffic. Looks like all roads leading to Sherry's are already thicker than a free milkshake. So you'd better get going. Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Fresh, local, delicious. Pilot, see if you can land in the parking lot.
Built for business. In business, time is money. In business, money is also money. No wonder nearly 1,000 businesses choose Comcast Business Internet over DSL from the phone company every single day. Not only is it up to 5 times faster, it's actually a better value when you go with the fastest plan. So take a minute out of your busy schedule and call Comcast Business. It will be well worth your time and your money. Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add voice and TV for just $34.90 a month. And ask about our 2-year price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 8/31/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to one voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required. Requires Comcast Business Internet and an additional monthly charge. Equipment, taxes, and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Savings claim based on cost per megabits per second. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Rodent droppings, insects, dirt, lost jewelry, and toys. What is in your heating and cooling ductwork? Contact Pacific Air Comfort, your local Carrier factory authorized dealer, to inspect your home's heating and cooling system's ductwork for free. Turn to the experts for your home, and their professional staff will inspect your heating and cooling system and ducts, offering solutions that address your needs. Clean air ducts or new Carrier equipment, they will make you Pacific Air comfortable. Pacific Air Comfort, quality system design, quality carrier equipment, quality installation, and outstanding 24/7 service and repairs. Visit PacificAirComfort.com. That's PacificAirComfort.com. Or call 541-342-5300. That's 541-342-5300 to receive Pacific Air Comfort's award-winning service today.
Even with the greatest real estate we've seen in a decade, do you realize that 20% of homes go pending and then fall out, which ends up netting you, the seller, less money? The reason? You hired the wrong real estate agent. If you want a great price and have a great experience, hire Harpole Homes with Keller Williams Realty.
Fact, not all agents are created equal. When you sell your house with Eric and Jeanette's team, you get thousands more dollars in your pocket. With the extra money the Harpoles net you, you can take a vacation, pay off debt, or put more down on your next home.
How did the Harpole Homes do it? Negotiating, marketing, and their exclusive certified pre-owned home program. When you hire Harpole Homes to sell your house, they pay for your home inspection up front to take care of the issues to ensure your home stays sold. It's one of 182 steps they follow to get your house sold for top dollar.
For your free information package or to schedule a free consultation, call them 541-286-3030 or check them out at harpolehomes.com. Sell your house this summer with Harpole Homes with Keller Williams Realty. 541-286-3030.
Dairy Mart is here, man. Dairy Mart is there, man. Up and down the valley, they're everywhere you go, man. Stop and come inside, man. Dairy Mart saves time. We got soda pop, fruit punch, cold beer, crunchy tater, cookies, cracker jacks, ice cream, lotto tickets, hot food, quick stacks, mama's favorite gourmet coffee, donuts, hot dogs, tender jerky, ice cream treats, biscuits, gravy, sandwiches, and friendly faces, chocolate milk, healthy food, stopping now, lots of places. Dairy Mart is here, man. Dairy Mart is there, man. Up and down the valley, they're everywhere you go, man. Stop and come inside, man. Dairy Mart saves time. We're in Corvallis, Albany, Brownsville, Monroe, Harrisburg, Junction City, Coburg, Cottage Grove, Eugene, Springfield, Bonita, Criswell, drive-thrus, fresh fruit, daily papers, great smells. We're in your neighborhood. Come on, let's go down to Dairy Mart. Your store gets more. Dairy Mart is here, man. Dairy Mart's right here.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. The Securities and Exchange Commission's long overdue regulations on crowdfunding recently went into effect. This is crowdfunding of investments and is considerably different from the Kickstarter or GoFundMe type of platforms, where you can donate a little money for all kinds of causes, inventions, or to help strangers in need. No, this is about investing in startups, hoping to find the next Facebook or Google, something that's almost as difficult as winning Powerball. Investment crowdfunding was authorized as part of the Jobs Act of 2012. Now, for the first time since the Securities Acts of 1933 and 40, passed in the wake of the stock market crash of 1929 and the Great Depression, companies can raise money from ordinary folks without going through a full-blown stock offering process, something that can easily cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's the nugget. Already numerous, these crowdfunding platforms are sprouting like weeds after the first good rain. Before these rules were released, crowdfunding was restricted from taking most people's money. Now virtually anyone can roll the dice, speculator or promoter, with just a few constraints, thus making it a lot harder for those raising money to get in trouble, and a lot easier for the folks putting it up to lose it. More soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Watch where you sit because the chairs are on fire this August at Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence. Come beat the heat with even hotter seats in our scorching $50,000 hot seat giveaway. Drawings will be held every half hour between 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. August 6th and 20th. Visit threeriverscasino.com for all the details. Then, attention all music lovers. Ziggy Stardust will be playing his guitar once again at Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence. That's right, this September 16th and 17th we'll host the phenomenal tribute performance Space Oddity featuring David Brighton as David Bowie. Tickets start at just $14.99. Reserve your seats now by visiting threeriverscasino.com and experience the genius of David Bowie once again. Don't miss this blazing hot cash and Bowie Bonanza at Three Rivers Casino Resort because things are luckier here.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
An upper-level low-pressure system will move slowly across our region through Tuesday, bringing cooler temperatures, increased clouds, and light precipitation. Another disturbance brings renewed shower chances over the weekend.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are fluctuating this Monday morning as equities are valued at the highest level in 7 years. Investors are pretty optimistic on the economy after Friday's bigger than estimated 255,000 increase in jobs last month. Not as optimistic, though, the deal between Cigna and Anthem. Cigna met with investors last week to discuss the $48 billion takeover by Anthem, but to also talk about a plan B, stock buybacks or acquisitions if the deal falls apart. Noted healthcare investor Les Funtlater of E Squared Asset Management said this is a sign that Cigna doesn't think that the deal between the two insurance giants will happen. Jaguar has rocketed to the top in sales in America. In the first 7 months of this year, Jaguar sales has surged 59%, outpacing every other brand on the road. Volvo a distant second with a 29% increase in cars sold. Most of Jaguar's luxury rivals, including Lexus and Cadillac, have reported a dip in sales. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Here we are a couple of years into it, and Hillary Clinton is still trying to explain her email problems. This time she says it's a short circuit. I'm Lars Larson with the Northwest Report's commentary in just a moment. Have you ever thought about all the money you spend at the pharmacy buying a shaver, and it's just a cheap piece of plastic? Harry's.com was started by two guys passionate about creating a better shaving experience. They bought a blade factory in Germany. They turn out the best blades, and the starter kit, $15, and it's delivered to your house, and delivery is free. Go to Harry's.com right now. Enter my code name Lars in the promo box. $5 off your first order. Enter my code name Lars for $5 off your first order. That's Harry's.com. Change the way you shave forever. Hillary Clinton broke the law. She exposed American secrets to any hacker that wanted to come along and hack into ClintonEmail.com. We all know it. We heard the FBI chief's testimony. And yet, Hillary Clinton, as a presidential candidate, is not having her feet held to the fire, although she richly deserves it. She finally came out and said she believes it's because of a short circuit, that somehow the words she's saying in denying that she exposed American secrets were simply misunderstood by the FBI. Misunderstood by the press, and misunderstood by voters. She's been severely misunderstood. And of course, she's still fighting that big battle that she thinks she has with what she imagines as a vast right-wing conspiracy. For Northwest Reports, I'm Lars Larson.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. We vote 3 months from today. And what if we elect Donald Trump? The Republican will next hour detail what his economic plan would be. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, creating jobs, lowering taxes, and renegotiating trade deals, all part of Trumponomics, set to be unveiled in greater detail by the Republican at the Detroit Economic Club. The plan reportedly includes a provision for parents to fully deduct child care expenses from their taxable income. Trump also wants to get rid of the so-called death tax and put a temporary moratorium on all new business regulations. Trump's income tax plan has 4 brackets for Americans, 0% for the lowest earners, followed by 10, 20, and 25%. Dave.
Rachel, Delta's flying again, but the airline is playing catch-up after a power outage in Atlanta dominoed into a grounding of planes worldwide for hours. More than 400 flights were canceled or are delayed.
Delta is issuing travel waivers to passengers whose flights have either been canceled or significantly delayed. They can reschedule their flights without penalty over the next 4 days or request full refunds.
Fox's Jonathan Sari at the Atlanta airport. It's up to 67 dead in Quetta, Pakistan, where a hospital was bombed. 92 others were injured. A breakaway Taliban group is claiming the responsibility. The Kansas park with the tallest water slide in the world is closed. The morning after a boy was killed at high speed. Fox's Jeff Manasso has more live.
Dave, 10-year-old Caleb Schwab was killed while riding the Verrückt water slide, dubbed the world's largest, at Schlitterbahn in Kansas City Sunday, where joy quickly turned to horror.
Shell shocked, tears. Mom's crying.
Schwab was the son of Kansas State Rep Scott Schwab. Park officials say they don't know what went wrong, though multiple people are telling local news agencies that the harness in the slide was not working. Dave.
Jeff, Fairfax, Virginia's mayor has resigned. Thursday will be Scott Silverthorne's last day after his arrest, accused of trading drugs for sex with other men. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Neurospine Institute is a healing place that offers sophisticated diagnostic and surgical services with a range of treatment options. Their specialists are leaders in their profession in addressing back and neck injuries, pain management, and sports medicine. Treatments include neurosurgery, physical therapy, minimally invasive procedures, and pain management. Equipped with sophisticated diagnostic and surgical capabilities, plus a caring staff committed to each patient's well-being, they'll work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure the best care and treatment for your unique situation. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Mexico is being hit by another tropical storm. Javier is arriving after Earl, which came from the Gulf side, rained down on Mexico, triggering mudslides in mountainous areas, now blamed for 39 deaths. An American is a hostage in Afghanistan, one of 2 kidnapped yesterday. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Day 5 gunmen donning Afghan military uniforms kidnapped an American and an Australian from their SUV as they were driving on a main road near the American University in Afghanistan. A spokesman for the Afghan Interior Ministry says it's believed the 2 are employees of the university and were traveling in between the institution and their homes when they were taken. Fox News confirms the kidnapping of an American citizen, but the U.S. Embassy released no other information about the abductee. The embassy says it's working closely with Afghan law enforcement officials. Dave.
Jessica, ISIS has posted pictures online showing U.S. military gear the terrorists supposedly seized in Afghanistan. A rocket launcher, grenades, ammunition, communications gear, an American flag, even the idea of a U.S. soldier. But the Pentagon says that Army specialist is fine and accounted for. 14 more gold medals are up for grabs in Rio, the day after Michael Phelps won the 19th of his career, and Katie Ledecky hit a record for swimming, also winning gold. Meanwhile, Russia is angry more of its athletes won't be allowed to compete.
In a rare break from the IOC, the International Paralympic Committee has banned all Russian athletes from next month's Paralympic Games here in Rio due to the country's widespread state-sponsored doping program. The World Anti-Doping Agency and more than a dozen nations had called for a similar ban during the Olympics, but the IOC decided to leave it up to each individual sport. 271 Russians are here competing as a result. The head of the Russian Paralympic Committee calls the blanket ban an abuse of human rights, telling reporters that most of the country's Paralympians are clean.
That's Fox's Chris Honig in Rio. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 10 points. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, it's 11:20 KPNW with the Wake Up Call, hour number 3. Got that? Uno, dos in the books. Going for our 3rd hour here from the Widmer Brothers studios here, Bicoastal Radio Complex. Sunny with some clouds here and there. 78 for the high, partly cloudy, and 57 overnight. Currently 56 degrees. Things okay on the roadways locally. Outside is where everything kind of goes astray. Highway 38, 8 miles west of Elkton. We got a crash. If you're headed 101 south in the southern portion of the state, we've got collapses and detours abound. A lot of those. So if you see anything that the other 14 would appreciate, get it to us and we'll try to get that your way. There was a rumored rockfall 2 miles west of the Sandian Pass summit there, US 28 mile post 79. So just really, at this point, because we care about you, we love and adore you, just be careful wherever you go. Professor Alan Sachs coming up. The story, I think, over the weekend that just lit me up. It was so good to see the boy in Springfield just because of the nature of the news stories out there where you just, your imagination starts to run wild. What a relief. And a salute to the Springfield police crew that was able to lasso him and get him back into where he needs to be, his home. Thumbs up. News coming up.
Yeah, we'll have these stories in just a matter of moments. Springfield police investigating now a murder. We'll have the details there. The search has ended for a Lewis and Clark student who was lost in the Willamette National Forest. We'll tell you about the ballot measures that are going to be on the ballot that you'll have a chance to vote on, at least statewide measures, coming up this November. Those stories and more all ahead, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW. Mornings really don't make a lot of sense. You've spent the whole night blissfully sleeping, and then you're awakened by a loud noise and you're moving at hyperspeed. There just doesn't seem to be enough time between the alarm and work or school. This is where Burrito Amigos can intervene. You don't have to skip breakfast. Just head to a Burrito Amigos drive-thru. Get your bacon, machaca, sausage, chorizo, or huevos rancheros burritos without ever having to unbuckle a seatbelt. Stop by Burrito Amigos drive-thru at 1333 West 6th in Eugene or 201 42nd Street in Springfield. Not only can you get your favorite burrito, but also a full line of Burrito Amigo espresso drinks too. Pull up, stop, order, and moments later you're back on the road with a tasty breakfast, a caffeinated jump starter, and a smile. You could almost say Burrito Amigos enables morning insanity by making breakfast far too easy. Drive-thru with Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield.
Hey guys, watch my new bike trick. Whoa!
Accidents happen. When they do, Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center can help you get on the road to recovery faster. With the area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center. Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center is owned in part by physicians.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
Local news, local people. Wake-up call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Authorities are investigating the death of a 76-year-old woman found in her Springfield home as a homicide. Police responded Friday to the report of an unresponsive person find Dorothy Ruth Ashley dead at the residence where she lived alone. Police have determined she died of homicidal violence. No arrests have been made. The Coos County attorney, or district attorney, says a Myrtle Point teenager was justified in shooting a man who police say attempted to burglarize his home. Coos County DA Rob Frazier says the 15-year-old boy feared for his safety when he grabbed a shotgun and shot the suspect in the leg. Police say 33-year-old Kenneth Edwards entered the teen's home Wednesday in Myrtle Point. Under Oregon law, deadly physical force can be used if someone commits a burglary in your home and you fear for your life. Edwards is currently being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. No charges against him have yet to be filed. The Bureau of Land Management approved a new timber plan for Western Oregon, and predictably, it was environmentalists and the timber industry that were upset. Ron Denton of the Bureau of Land Management says the plan increases annual timber harvest from $23 million to $51 million.
Our goal here, really in these decisions, is, I would say, sustainable and predictable outcomes.
The BLM says it would increase recreation-based revenue from $223 million to $271 million and would add 600 jobs.
This is really an umbrella document for managing the lands in Western Oregon.
The American Forest Resource Council disagrees. They call the plan flawed. and it's 122 million board feet less than the original Northwest Forest Plan. Meanwhile, the American Bird Conservancy says the plan ignores science and puts the owl and marbled murrelet at risk. Now, beyond the environmentalists and the timber industry, there's other groups infuriated by the BLM's so-called Record of Decision forest plan. And that would be the Coquille Indian tribe is concerned the plan is negatively going to affect their timber revenues and eliminate jobs.
Disappointed that the protest period explained to us was that they would only address issues that perhaps were breaking the laws, environmental laws or state laws, and they're still not addressing our Coquille Forest Act as a law, and that's something we're going to look to them to define for us.
Coquille Indian Tribe chairperson Brenda Mead says that in a May letter, they outlined how the plan would interfere with management of the Coquille lands and sharply reduce their timber revenue. The tribe also noted the BLM failed to consult with the Bureau of Indian Affairs about the plan's effect on tribal lands. The BLM dismissed the tribe's protest on July 28th and said they won't revise the plan. BLM management plans affect the Coquille tribe because of unique language in the 1996 law that established the tribal forest. Currently, legislation to unbind the Coquille forest from BLM management plans has passed the House of Representatives. The Senate's Energy and Natural Resources Committee also endorsed a Senate version last month. Well, in the November general election, Oregon voters will decide 7 statewide measures. Brad Ford has the details.
The Oregon Secretary of State's office has given numbers to the measures that will be on the ballot. 3 are referred by the legislature. Measures 94 through 96 would eliminate the retirement age for state judges, allow public universities to invest in equities, and dedicate 1.5% of lottery money to veterans. Measure 97 increases the tax on large corporations. Measure 98 increases spending on schools. Measure 99 creates the Outdoor School Education Fund, and Measure 100 makes it illegal to buy or sell parts from endangered species. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Authorities have suspended their search for a hiker who disappeared in the Mount Jefferson Wilderness area more than a week ago. Riley Zickel, a Lewis and Clark college student from Sebastopol, California, disappeared after entering the wilderness area July 27th. He was last seen that same day by another hiker on the Pacific Crest Trail. More than 340 people participated in the search for Zickel, covering hundreds of miles of snowy areas and rugged terrain in the Willamette National Forest. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says they've called off the search after exhausting all available leads. The Bybee Creek fire near Crater Lake was 59% contained as of Sunday evening, with the burn acreage estimated at 1,072 acres. Fire officials hope stable weather during the next several days will allow them to get the blaze fully under control. Sunday, fire crews patrolled and strengthened existing containment lines. A total of 384 people are currently working on that blaze. The park's West Rim Drive has reopened this morning. The intersection of Munson Valley Road and West Rim Drive near Rim Village to North Junction. The entire length of the Pacific Crest Trail inside the park reopened yesterday. Meanwhile, fire officials say they expect to have the Blue Top Fire, which is burning on the McKenzie River in East Lane County. They say it'll be fully contained later today. Fire management was transferred to the McKenzie Ranger District. The fire has burned about 59 acres. The McKenzie River Trail and Blue Pool area will remain closed until weakened trees and other hazards are removed and damaged slopes are repaired. A Democratic Oregon State Senator from Southern Oregon died suddenly. Brad Ford has more.
71-year-old Alan Bates from Medford died Friday while fishing with his son on the Rogue River. He was 71 years old. Bates was a family physician who served in the Oregon Senate since 2005 and 4 years before that in the House of Representatives. Governor Kate Brown says he was a statesman who was deeply committed to ensuring Oregonians had access to health care. U.S. Senator Ron Wyden says Bates was a frequent moderator of his town halls in Southern Oregon.
I have watched Senator Bates pour his heart and soul into helping others.
Dr. Bates, a Democrat, was highly respected by his Republican colleagues. House Republican leader Mike McLean said he was a man of enormous integrity and a truly selfless public servant. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
State officials say the Oregon State Pen is on lockdown after more than 150 inmates waged a riot. Fight broke out Friday afternoon. It continued into Saturday morning. The Oregon Department of Corrections says an investigation has been opened into what caused it, and officials did not say if the fights were gang-related. The penitentiary has placed 155 inmates in solitary confinement for their involvement. 5 inmates needed medical attention for non-life-threatening injuries. No staff was injured. The Oregon State Pen is the state's only maximum security prison and houses more than 2,000 male inmates. A new analysis of earthquakes off the Oregon and Washington coast finds there's a slightly greater risk of the big one hitting in the next 50 years. Research finds there are more earthquakes along the Cascadia subduction zone than previously thought. Oregon State University professor of earth sciences Chris Goldfinger says that slightly increased the risk of a major quake.
For northern Oregon, say from Newport northward, it's now bumped up from about 15% to maybe 17 to 20%.
Big quakes happen on average every 350 years. The last major quake happened 315 years ago. Goldfinger says it means that it's important to be ready.
We're in a bit of a race to get people and our infrastructure in the Northwest prepared for this.
The quake could have a magnitude of around 9. That would pretty much cause massive damage to bridges, roads, buildings, infrastructure, well, pretty much everything throughout the region. Thieves know which cars are the easiest to steal. Brad Ford has more on the most popular cars among thieves in Oregon. And most of them are not a surprise.
The top 2 cars stolen in Oregon are the 1994 Honda Accord and the 1998 Honda Civic. Kenton Bryan with the Northwest Insurance Council says you can take basic steps to keep your car from being stolen.
Lock your car, take your keys with you.
Keep valuables out of sight, park in well-lit areas, and have a security system such as an alarm or an ignition system that requires a key with a chip. You can even go a step further.
Tracking devices like OnStar systems for your car that can track it by computer if it's stolen.
If you have comprehensive insurance, that will cover the cost of the car if it's stolen. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
A Portland woman has filed a $10,000 lawsuit against a parking garage owner that allegedly allowed some sort of mysterious liquid to drop onto her forearm while she was standing next to her parked car. According to the lawsuit filed last week, Shoshana Doty says the liquid landed on her right arm after parking her car in a Portland parking garage last year. She says the liquid later resulted in unexplained injuries, muscle spasms, swelling, and numbness. Doty's Portland attorney, Mark Ginsburg, says that the Bill Nadeau company has not identified the source of the liquid. Instead, Ginsburg says that the parking garage owner admitted that they'd been paying claims for a liquid that had been damaging people's cars. Doty says she's looking for $400 in lost income, $8,000 for pain and suffering. The suit also seeks attorney fees. The Oregon Agriculture Department has been raising tiny wasps to use as biocontrol agents against stink bugs that damage orchards. Ag Department entomologist Chris Hedstrom says the wasp fights stink bugs by paralyzing their eggs.
You know, you have these agents that are expected to sort of spread on their own, but they certainly work faster if you can help them along. If you can take an insect that's doing the job in one part of the state, move it to a part where that insect doesn't exist yet to get it going, that's definitely a help.
Recently, Hedstrom discovered the tiny wasp is already in Oregon. It was found in a stink bug trap in Portland. The hope is the discovery speeds up USDA approval for targeted releases of wasps raised in the laboratory. The state of Oregon is warning about a fake insurance company, and it is scamming businesses. Brad Ford has the story.
An Oregon transportation company bought insurance through Proactive Indemnity Corporation, paid premiums, and thought they were insured.
And it wasn't until 4 years later that they realized that they didn't have any insurance.
Stephanie Fisick with the Oregon Department of Consumer and Business Services says other names used by the fake company are Proactive Financial Services and Contingent Cargo Company. People associated with the business are Josh Capella and Ahmed Salam. Business owners can verify with the state whether an insurance company is legit.
We want them to always check a license before they do business.
You can do that on the Oregon Division of Financial Regulation website. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
And finally, a new report says people are twice as likely to cheat at the danger age of 39. LiveScience.com says a new survey by a British website called IllicitEncounters.com also found that the year just before you change decades, like 29, 39, 49, and so on, also puts you at an increased risk for stepping out on your partner. It's 8:21. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Sunday in Rio, Michael Phelps added to his gold medal tally, his 19th if you're scoring along at home. He was 1/4 of the winning relay team in the 4x100. Katie Ledecky, a world record in the 400 freestyle, about 5 seconds ahead of the closest competitor. U.S. women's basketball team annihilated Senegal, as would be expected, 121-56. Right now they're taking on Spain, who's giving them a closer game. Just ended the first quarter. We'll keep it at that in case you're trying to watch it tonight. Kerry Walsh and April Ross take to the sand also tonight against China. The 20-year playing career for 41-year-old Alex Rodriguez will come to an end on Friday. We think, although there's rumors that maybe he's not completely done with playing. This wouldn't be for the Yankees, but Alex Rodriguez will play his last game, and then at this point, the script says he'll be some kind of consultant. He's getting paid $27 million for this year through next year, or homers shy of 700. In Denver, 42-year-old Ichiro Suzuki hit a triple in the 7th and became the first player born in Japan to reach 3,000 hits. His Marlins down the Colorado Rockies 10-7. Golf, Jim Furyk getting more talk for his 58 than who actually won the Travelers Championship, and that was Russell Knox. First 58 in PGA Tour history. And somebody probably is going to get a firm talking to. The Hall of Fame football game did not. It played last night. It was canceled. The paint hadn't dried on the field. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle, where you can always try it before you buy it, on Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time 8:23.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
For your work week, an upper-level low-pressure system will move slowly across our region through Tuesday, bringing cooler temperatures, increased clouds, and light precipitation. This upper low reaches the northern Rockies by midweek for a drying and warming trend during the second half of the week. Another disturbance brings renewed shower chances over the weekend.
When you need foundation repairs, turn to the foundation experts at Ramjack West. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Serving Oregon and Washington. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
When it comes to Honda power equipment at low prices, think Ramsey Waite. We have Honda lawnmowers on site, like the HRX 217 mower, featuring the 4-in-1 Versamo system. Ramsey Waite has an extensive line of Honda generators, including the recreational Super Quiet EU 2000i.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it.
Ramsey Waite Superstore.
Honda.
Open Monday through Saturday, Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood.
Check us out at RamseyWaite.com.
If you're going to snack, why not snack the healthy way? Max Muscle has a new snack aisle filled with healthy options like protein bars, protein muffins, chips, jerky. We even have protein pancake mix. Stop in and start snacking. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
This message is for the 99% of Americans who are underpaid. So if you're in the top 1%, stop listening. You will not like what I'm about to do. For a limited time, I'm giving away a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate, to anyone who calls. It'll show you how to copy exactly what I did to fire my boss, live life on my terms, and become part of the 1%. Now, normally this book sells for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-500-0384. Look, the 1%, they want to keep you out of their club. But I discovered a simple way to make money flipping houses and break in without any cash, credit, or manual labor. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. If you're sick of being overworked and underpaid, this free book could change your life. It's mind-blowing, awesome, and fun to read. Don't wait. To find out how to get your free book, call 1-800-500-0384. That's 1-800-500-0384.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. 8:26. Kind of of a cloudy start to the day, but it was nice to see a nice sunrise this morning. It was always nice to see a nice sunrise this morning. We're going to be talking to Professor Alan Sachs here in just a matter of moments here on the Wake Up Call. And, oh, look, he's there. Here he is, the unofficial, official political scientist of the state of Texas. And that, by the way, was by legislative decree, Professor Alan Sachs from the University of Texas at Arlington. Professor, how are you today?
Good morning. Thank you. I am the official, unofficial political scientist of Texas.
Official, unofficial political.
The official, unofficial.
Right.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either, but I got a certificate.
And now, is it the road to the dump is named after you, or
yes.
is it? Okay, it's the road
There's
to
a
the
long story behind that. I have a long road that goes into the city landfill, better known as the dump, that is named after me. And I wanted to name it the Alan Sachs, Lost Dreams or something like that. But or Boulevard of Broken Dreams, I think, was my first title, but they didn't go for that.
Was somebody trying to spite you, Professor?
Yeah, I had some arguments with some city council people many years ago, but all ended in good fun. In fact, I actually drove a big garbage truck through a ribbon, and they gave me dead roses and an old bottle of champagne and everything else, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Well, at least you've got a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, many years ago. It was great.
All right, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, as far as the presidential election goes. We're 3 months away as of today. And everybody, well, a lot of Republicans are twisting in the wind saying that, oh, no, Trump's numbers have fallen. We're going to lose. This is going to be Hillary Mageddon, and the world is lost. And essentially, they're rending their sackcloth and smearing themselves in ashes. I look
You're
at
right.
this.
It's not so much fun for a lot of incumbent Republican senators up for re-election this cycle. And they think that if Donald Trump loses big, and some of the polls show that, they may go down as well. Perhaps most notably, a senator by the name of Kelly Ayotte, Ayyotte, in New Hampshire, a Republican senator. She's already behind 10 points behind her Democratic opponent, a governor of New Hampshire. And the polls in New Hampshire show that Donald Trump is losing big time to Hillary Clinton. And she's afraid that she may go down if it stays that way. But again, we have a lot of time till the November elections. Donald Trump's going to make a big speech today, in a couple of minutes, in fact, to the very influential Detroit Economic Club. And I think what he's going to say is going to please them. Hillary Clinton is going to speak later on in the week, and she's going to call for higher taxes on big billionaires and a lot more spending for student debt and for Obamacare. And I'm not sure how well the Detroit Economic Club is going to applaud that.
The Detroit Economic Club, that's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it?
You are absolutely right in today's look at Detroit. But it's a very influential club. A lot of people who belong to it do not necessarily live in Detroit proper, but it's a very influential group of economists and business professionals, and they are very quiet. They're not going to stand up. It's not going to be a political event. And I think they're going to respond to what Donald Trump has to say fairly positively. He's going to call for a lowering of the corporate income tax. He's going to ask for a complete abolishment of the estate tax, the marriage penalty, and get rid of a lot of other restrictions on our economy. I think they're going to respond very well to that. Mrs. Clinton's already replied. It's going to be a recession. You're going to hurt jobs. You're going to hurt poor people. And, of course, Donald Trump is going to reply, no, you're going to do that because you're spending too much and you're going to raise taxes. So it'll be interesting to see how the Detroit Economic Club and the markets will respond to those corresponding addresses this week.
Well, it's okay to have, your little economic club go, oh, Bravo,
That's
Donald.
right. It's how the country will respond to it.
Exactly. And, I mean, the big question here is, how are they going to respond? I mean,
right.
Does the average... do economic issues anymore, now that we're out of the Great Recession, do economic issues resound or echo with those folks that are between the Democrats and the Republicans on the left and the right? Do they even care at this point about government spending?
I think it depends on what the mainline media does and how a person responds to it in their own individual economic situation. If you have a good job, well paid, you're probably pretty happy. If you have a part-time job and you want a full-time job, you could be looking at the economy in a very different way. And also, inflation figures into it, and there are some economists who say that we're headed toward a very bad recession, if not a depression, somewhere down the road, primarily because of the trillions of dollars of debt and the increased spending that has gone on over the past decade or so. And they're very worried about it. And every once in a while, a very reputable economist shows up and says, there is trouble ahead. How will individuals respond to those frightening statements is difficult to know. That could be one of the big issues down the line, is whether or not we really are headed toward some kind of an economic catastrophe, and it wouldn't be just us. It would be all the central banks in Europe and throughout the world who are perhaps having trouble. Some economists argue the only thing that's propping up the stock market and our economy is simply the Federal Reserve, but they can only pump out so much money for so long.
Interesting. Do we know how millennials respond to issues of taxes and government spending?
I'm not sure if they respond too well to taxes and spending, but I know they respond very well to issues about their own student debt and some health care issues. They do respond to that, especially when Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders says, we're going to get rid of all your debt, we're going to reduce it, and you'll be able to go to community colleges free. They love that. And also maybe free marijuana on the side as well, as far as Bernie is concerned. But aside from that...
Okay, wait a second. I don't remember Bernie ever saying anything about free weed.
I don't think he really did, but he implied that I think our drug laws need to be looked at again. Gary Johnson, of course, a libertarian, has talked about that a lot, and they respond to that. But I think you're right. Bernie Sanders has not addressed that issue directly, I don't believe, but he has in just a broader sense that our drug laws need to be revisited.
Wow. Isn't it amazing the way that the talking points in some ways have changed, and yet in other ways they continue to stay the same?
Yeah, and it depends how well people are listening. I think there's some big issues out there, but the mainline media just hasn't grabbed them and highlighted them as much as I think they should have. One is Iran. Not only the ransom, some people call it a ransom, President Obama does not, the $400 million in cash transferred in the dead of night to Iran, and just coincidentally, some of our hostages were released. But also, I think, of maybe even greater importance is the fact that a nuclear scientist in Iran, who apparently was spying for the United States, was executed last Wednesday, and his name appears in some of the Hillary Clinton emails. Senator Cotton of Arkansas raised that issue pretty starkly yesterday morning in some of the talk shows, saying that there really is a link between the two, and said Hillary Clinton is reckless, and look at the results. If that allegation is true, I think that's a big issue.
Yeah, but is the media actually going to follow up on it?
Probably not. That's the big deal. By many accounts, Hillary Clinton has the mainline media in her pocket. Now, I don't know whether that is true or not, but that certainly is the allegation. And so I don't see it being played up very strongly this morning or over the weekend, except on Fox. Fox has talked about it quite a bit, but I'm not sure how much the other big networks have talked about that issue. I think it is deserving of a big conversation.
All right. Professor Alan Sachs on the Wake Up Call. It was a pleasure talking to you this morning. Obviously, I had to go to the bathroom. It is 8:36 News Radio, 1120 KPNW. Okay, so as we've mentioned over the course of the last few weeks, I'm heading out of country for a while. And other than missing my wife, my son, the other big thing I'm going to miss, the Tempur-Pedic. I'm going to be sleeping on an inflatable mattress for the next couple of weeks, which it's not the Tempur-Pedic. Because first off, the rubber mattress does not have an adjustable base, the inflatable mattress. That's one of the big deals right there. And secondly, it's just not the Tempur-Pedic. If you're one of those folks that has a mattress, particularly if you've been toting around a cheap mattress for a while, and when I say a cheap mattress, you know what I'm talking about. You need a mattress, you go down to the mattress store and you go, what's on sale? Okay, I'll take that one for $100. Move up. Head in a Sleep Train and get a great mattress. Not just a mediocre or even a crummy mattress. Get a great mattress. One that's going to last for 15 years. One that's going to give you night after night after night of great sleep for years.
Triple choice sale ending Sunday. Go save lots of money and get a mattress that, you can be sleeping on it tonight and you'll experience it, and you can call us tomorrow and tell us how great it is in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem, and tell them you like this with the wake-up call, like this. Sleep Train.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks have been fluctuating this morning. There are concerns that gains will be hard to extend from here as companies wrap up a fifth straight quarter of earnings declines. Energy shares, though, are gaining after OPEC's president said the group will hold informal talks. In deal news, Mattress Firm will be bought by South African retailer Steinhoff International for about $2.4 billion. Mattress Firm is the owner of Sleepy's. This will give Steinhoff about 3,500 stores and 25% of the country's retail market. Meantime, Vail Resorts is buying Canada's Whistler Blackcomb in a cash and stock deal valued at a little over $1 billion. The property in Whistler, British Columbia, draws 2 million people each year to its slopes. Ample summer rains have boosted crops across the Midwest, and analysts surveyed by Bloomberg expect inventories of corn, wheat, and soybeans will top the government's July outlook. The Department of Agriculture will update its world crop supply and demand estimates this Friday. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
It's Brad's Cartoons 9th anniversary, and you're all invited. Get slamming deals at both Brad's locations all month long. Amps, decks, speakers, subs, and security systems, all at Brad's low anniversary prices. The absolute best place for car audio and video is Brad's Cartoons. 7th and Blair in Eugene, and now at 38th and Main in Springfield. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Erin. Want to sneak away for a yummy lunch? How about sizzling fajitas? Maybe you need a place to meet with your clients where you can enjoy a great meal and be comfortable chatting. Chapala has a great lunch menu with 2 convenient locations, 29th and Willamette and Oakway Center. Lunch has never been so good. We also offer party platters to go, just the right selection to keep everyone in your office happy. Why not make Chapala's your next lunch date?
Chapala Mexican Restaurant. So good.
Right now at Midgley's, when you purchase a Lopi wood-burning stove or fireplace insert, get professional installation for free. You heard right. Get up to $550 in professional installation for free. Utilize Lopi's Green Start technology and get Midgley's professional installation for free. We're at 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Check us out online at midgleys.com. Midgley's. Anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
Every election year, you hear lots of promises and few guarantees. Lars Larson here to tell you about one guarantee you have right here in Eugene and Lane County. Jeremy Parmenter will sell your home. That's right. Jeremy guarantees to sell your home at a price and a deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it. And Jeremy will sell your home fast. Darbin and Ruby wanted to sell their home and move out of the country. They didn't need the extra stress that comes with selling their home, so they called Jeremy Parmenter. He sold their home in less than 30 days, right on schedule, and got them $10,000 more than any house in that neighborhood. Why would you think of working with any other agent in Eugene or Lane County? And there's no risk. If you want out of the contract, you're out. Call the only agent I recommend in Eugene. Call Jeremy Parmenter at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. Online, OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com. That's OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
An upper-level low-pressure system will move slowly across our region through Tuesday, bringing cooler temperatures, increased clouds, and light precipitation. Another disturbance brings renewed shower chances over the weekend.
This is your wake-up call.
Bring it down a couple of notches, because you're a little too happy.
All the way in London on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
843 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Bill London. I can't believe he's taking off. He's going to miss
the radio auction. I'm a horrible human being.
How do you?
Well, yeah, you're a horrible human being that has nothing to do with missing the auction.
That's true.
No, it does. It does. It truly does.
Jeff Galton, the cheery voice that you hear, the third voice from the sales
morning,
department.
fellas.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
Good.
Yay! Great Monday morning, is it not?
Yes, I would agree. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day, and it's a beautiful week to talk about auction.
So, this is our, I think, 101st auction of the last couple of years.
I'm very excited about this auction because we have some new things, but let's make sure that we get on board right away and tell the folks to go to kpnw.com, click on the auction icon so they can sign up to be a VIP. Because that is so essential. We have over $100,000 worth of goods and services to move. And when you're calling in all morning long on that Priority One hotline, if we can get you to be a VIP, the process just goes so much smoother and so much faster. All you have to do is tell us your number, and we're off and running to the next item for you to bid on.
I think you need to clarify, too, that everybody and anybody is eligible to be a part of this. Because I still... Even people that I've known have listened to the station for years, aren't clear of the fact that anybody can call in.
Yeah, just go to the website, get a VIP number, but anybody can call in. And if you don't have the access to the internet, you just write this number down: 541-345-0189, 345-0189. Call us Saturday from 8 to 1, and you can listen to it on this station right here, KPNW 1120.
All right, so you said we have some new stuff. Why don't we talk a little bit about the newbies? Who's on here besides Lonnie Moku, which is
Lonnie
awesome.
Moku is awesome, isn't that?
Yeah.
And they got voted a Best in Show at that Eugene Mission Food Cart.
The Truck Fest.
They are just, we have another new one, Crazy Curry. So it's authentic Fijian curry. Made by a mother and her son. They have their food truck right over here by Valley River Center, and it is crazy good. Not just crazy curry, but crazy good. And those
Where
are
is that
certificates.
at?
He does it right over here by Valley River Center.
Did you know that, Rob? How did I miss that? Okay.
It's new.
I know.
Because you're not.
Valley River Center is kind of big. Is it in a parking lot somewhere?
Yeah, just outside in the parking lot on the backside.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Also new.
Note to self.
Pro Contracting is giving us two $2,000 certificates for in-stock granite. Now, I don't know if you know Barry and his team over at Pro Contracting, but they do unbelievable work. You just need to go see his showroom. It's right off of Tyen, right behind Hunter Break, and they do unbelievable work. And so this is a certificate good for material in stock at their store, and it is just he added on to his showroom because he has so much in stock, and he just does fantastic work, and that's pro contracting. Also new, not new as a client, but new to auction is Ramsey Waite, and they've given us a riding mower.
Yeah, really?
A $1,500 riding mower. Hang on, let me
wait.
Oh yeah, pro contracting, by the way.
Yeah.
Was we delivered ice cream to them here? Was it about a month or two ago?
Yeah, it's a great
Kenley.
store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had never been in there before. Okay, showroom wise,
yeah,
I concur with what he says. Their showroom rocks.
It does, doesn't it?
I mean, pun intended.
Is that where you can
it really does.
eat off the floor? It's so clean. Was it that place?
It's not the same place, but no, that place glistened. No, but they've got a great showroom. Really helpful people, and I was impressed when I left. Just was like, gosh, I had no idea that there was that kind of variety.
And so not only does Barry
marble.
does a great job for what he does to lead this organization, but his sons came back to work with him, so you know it's a good family product and a good family service. But he's got craftsmen that have, I think he told me something like 200 years of experience, combined guys working on this material.
Well, that's just two guys.
Yeah,
that's just
Barry.
two of the guys.
It's Barry and his wife, but
I'm
it's
sure
just,
his wife now loves you.
Well, listen, she won't see me.
All right,
but they do a great job, really a great job. So let me talk a little bit about this riding lawnmower. It's a John Deere D105 riding
D105
lawnmower from Ramsey Waite. Yeah. So it's not the F, it's the D.
Yeah.
It's actually, I use a riding mower, and I'm pretty hard on mine. So every couple of years, I need to get a new one. And if you can do it in auction, it's a great way to do it because I got a couple acres, and I've hit the house a couple times and hit some stones. Yeah.
So what are you doing? Just out there, just drinking to blindness while you're mowing your lawn?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, at least you're honest about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no lying here, no beating around.
Oh, look, I like to look at the scenery as I drive around, and next thing you know, the house jumped in my way.
Calico patterns.
Yeah, sure. Listen, whatever gets me through the day.
Right.
What else would you like to talk? So here's something. It's not a new client for us, but I don't know if you guys watch that Fixer Upper. You ever watch those, shows?
Yeah.
So on Fixer Upper, they have this new thing where they distress furniture to make it, brand new furniture to make it look good.
Yeah.
So American Mattress has given us a bedroom set, and it's white distressed furniture. It looks just like that show. It's crazy. It's the frame, it's the dresser, it's the nightstand, it's a mirror, but it's white distressed. So it's brand new, great craftsmanship, but it looks antique, which is really, really cool.
I like distress because if you screw it up or there's a blemish that you produce,
yeah,
it
which is perfect for me because
in.
as I'm riding through the house, on my riding mower,
right.
I tend to hit the furniture.
Right.
So that works out pretty well.
Well, that's good. So you can crash your John Deere through the house, and you won't screw up the furniture to buy that bed.
Hey, look, makes Bonnie
Nice.
happy.
Nice.
So, look, just so you know, and I know that you meant to congratulate me, but Friday was our 36th anniversary.
Wow.
36
Congratulations.
years together, yeah.
That's a long time,
It's a
by
long
the way.
time. It's a very long time. And we celebrated it by having breakfast at Off the Waffle.
Did you?
Bring that up because Off the Waffle is in the auction.
Oh.
And you guys, I know, are favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I hear.
Yes. And although, now look, I hope they're listening because I love Off the Waffle, but bring back the gluten-free waffles. That's
They
the
didn't
only
have
place.
them?
No, they don't do gluten-free waffles anymore. Man, I love those gluten-free waffles.
Oh.
I know. It was like
Maybe they weren't big sellers.
Well, I try to eat a lot. I try to eat a lot.
Thing.
Let's see what else we have. We have another vehicle. We have a 2003 Kia Spectra from Dan's Automotive, which is a terrific little vehicle. It's a 5-speed manual, 4-door, with about 140,000 miles on it, so it's still got a lot of life on that engine, but it is a terrific little vehicle from Dan's Automotive.
Cool. Pacific Air Comfort, I guess what? They're stepping in with the carrier home heating system.
That's correct.
It's a $7,000 certificate. And they come out and do all the stuff that goes along with it, including, I really like this part of these packages where they take care of going out and getting all of the certificates that you need and going through the county, the licensing, all of that.
It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Which is great. And they've been a terrific partner of ours in auction for a very long time, and those items sell very well. Another thing, back to the auction that we haven't had in a while, is Denture Masters is back. So this is that tailor-designed certificate for a denture. So you go in and you get the whole kit and caboodle. It's a $2,600 certificate, which goes a long way when you need dentures. So this is a terrific product and a terrific partner, and we're glad to have them back in auction. Let's see. We always have our firearms. So both Gun Runner and Oak Grove Gun have firearms in the auction. We have, and Bill, you know this from Gun Runner, we have the Marlin Winchester and the Mossberg.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, it's a Mossberg 30-06. Really nice. The stock on the thing, most people think, oh, Mossberg. The stock on the thing is awesome. I love the stock. It's a 30-06, comes with its own scope, as does the Marlin. The Marlin's a 243 Winchester. Right. The Mossberg's a 30-06. Anyway, if you're thinking about maybe, getting started in hunting, or you've got a son or daughter that you're going to start taken out to teach them how to go hunting and teach them how to do it. These are a couple of great starter rifles that would be good to do that. 30-06, a little more than a starter rifle, but they both come with their own scopes, and it's a good deal there.
And the rifle, if the rifle is not what you want from Oak Grove Guns, you can get the 9mm pistol from Walter, which is a nice...
Which is from Oak Grove.
Yes, from Oak Grove Guns. Right. Then from Mazama, we have an 8-foot Roanoke pontoon boat, which is great for river floating and river fishing. So
generally, the pontoon boats, they use fly fishermen. Use the pontoon boats. And if you've never been out on one, you'll know why they're great for fly fishermen, because you can get into some pretty weird little areas where you can do the fly fishing.
I went onto YouTube to check this out, and there's a YouTube video of this pontoon boat, and a guy caught a guy sitting on the boat by himself caught some sort of huge, like 6-foot grouper that was like a couple 100 pounds or something. It was crazy. Yeah, it almost took him back in. You got to check that out. I'll send you the link to it.
Yeah,
it was just nuts. I mean, what a great experience. I mean, if you really want to fish, get into the water and fish right with them. That's
get into the water.
I'm just curious, do you have the list price on that pontoon boat? That could be one of those things. Every once in a while you hear some of the things that we auction off and you go, that right there could be a steal for somebody, particularly a fly fisherman or a fly fisher woman who wants one of these pontoon boats. You could save some serious coin on that.
I don't remember off the top of my head what we had that listed on, but it'll be up on the website by the end of the day today. So you can. That's another great opportunity to go up on the website at the end of the day today. I'll have everything up on there with its list price, and there'll be a few specialty items that we might just do a buy it now. So if you know this is what you want to get, and you don't want to worry about a bidding war, right? You can just do it on a buy it now.
I want to throw in here, too, Priority 1 has got a couple of different packages in. A 12,000 BTU Mitsubishi ultra-high efficiency single-zone ductless heat pump system.
Which I'm interested in.
And also a Carrier. They've got two systems. They've got the Mitsubishi, and then they have a Carrier high-efficiency natural gas furnace system. So they've got a couple of different things that are in there, where you can save yourself some bucks on your electricity bill, as we've heard that the electricity bill is expected to go up, of course, in the near future. Thank you, eWeb, but all the other ones. I mean, let's be honest here. Electricity rates never go down. So you might as well save yourself some money on a brand new heating and air conditioning system for your home.
Right, and I'm looking at that ductless system, so I asked them to put 2 in, just in case we ended up. So we got 2 of those.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, it's nice to sit in the chair.
Yeah.
Look, and the other one, I want to make sure that because we have tons of these, is the boxes from Redwood Northwest. That guy makes an unbelievable box.
I was just talking about him over the weekend.
Have you gone in to see his? He does all the work right there.
Yeah.
Out on West Love. Have you gone in to see his shop? That is crazy.
I love their
all
stuff.
of the equipment, and it's just great.
Some people were talking about doing some patio work. I said, okay, when you need your picnic table, go out there. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And these are gift certificates. So these are certificates. So you can just buy and then just go out to him and
And don't tell them this.
Yes.
But they're severely underpriced.
They are.
You agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They do great work.
Absolutely. Which is why when I used my certificates to buy the first round of boxes from him, Bonnie was so happy I had to go back and spend full price because she wanted more.
Yeah.
Which,
Hey, you live and learn.
After 36 years, I ought to know.
All right,
There's
8 o'clock
always
is
one
when we
more thing.
kick into it Saturday morning. If you want to get, you really will be happy if you take 5 or 10 minutes today or sometime earlier in the week and check out kpnw.com and get the VIP. Jeff, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, fellas.
All right, that's it for us. We will bid adieu, and then we'll hang out hopefully tomorrow for the better part of your morning, starting at 6:05 right here on 1120 KPNW. Sunny and 78 today. Make it a good one.
This is your intrepid reporter high in the sky over Sherry's Cafe and Pies with today's traffic and weather. Looks like fiery hot conditions, immediately followed by icy cold comfort thanks to Sherry's free Milkshake Mondays. Order any fire-grilled Northwest burger and get a free hand-scoop traditional milkshake from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Now for traffic. Looks like all roads leading to Sherry's are already thicker than a free milkshake. So you'd better get going. Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Fresh, local, delicious. Pilot, see if you can land in the parking lot.
At Batteries Plus Bulbs, save $10 after mail-in rebate on Duracell Ultra Premium Gold and Platinum Car batteries. Visit Batteries Plus Bulbs in Eugene and now open in Corvallis on 9th Street next to the grocery outlet.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-400-0301. Strict limit of 1 per household.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. If your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. Think you might be bloated? See how much flatter New Biotics makes your belly. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-400-0301. That's 1-800-400-0301. 1-800-400-0301.
This message is for the 99%